Greetings, Titans. Welcome to Dave on the Road. I'm Dave. This is Dave Takes It On. So we're just on the way back from a filming trip to Rugby Services. A lot going on there. There's a separate video for that. But last night and this morning, I was doing a lot of research into what's happening in the near future. And there's an awful lot happening, and one of the ones that's of real interest is the Tesla Model 2. Now, I know, everyone says it's never going to happen, it's been cancelled, it's been delayed, it's Elon Musk, yeah, we get all of that. It's happening. It'll be launched in early 2025, less than 6 months from now. So it's on its way, can't be stopped. It's virtually the same model as the Robo Taxi, and therefore there's no reason not to build it. But also there's a massive demand for it. Now, if you look at the Model Y, for example, this ended up as the best-selling car in the world last year. Any fuel, it wasn't just an EV, best-selling EV, this was the best-selling car. And that's a £50,000 car in the UK. So can you imagine what's going to happen when they launch the Model 2, which is projected to be £20,000 or £25,000? This is going to be an absolutely storming success. So there is a massive market for it. It's the same model pretty much as the Robo Taxi, just will have a steering wheel, pedals and a few other bits and pieces. So there's no reason not to build it. How many they're going to make is a very different matter. Elon is very, very much behind Robo Taxis, and if he had his way, I'm sure they'd all be Robo Taxis and no Model 2s. But the Model 2s are an absolute must for the EV market. It will do a huge amount for EV sales everywhere. It will spur others on to produce really decent cars in the same price range, 20 to 25, which is sorely lacking at the moment. The cheapest realistic one at the moment that you can get and actually jump in and drive is £27,000. That's the MG4 EV. But other than that, the next one's up about 32,000, about Hyundai Konas and other various things which are available. So in the £20,000 to £25,000 range, very, very lacking at the moment. Yeah, there's Citroen EC3 on the way. There's a Renault 5e on the way. These are on the way. They're not available today. And even the Renault 5, which they have launched in Europe, the launch model is €33,000, so different league. So there's a massive gap in the market for a really good, really small family car, little 5-door hatchback, 3-door hatchback, whatever, is suited at the time, and at a price £20,000 to £25,000. So that's the Model 2. It's going to be, it's been confirmed that it's come down from $25,000 down to $20,000 or £20,000, €20,000. They're all pretty much the same these days. So, by the way, if anyone comments that I occasionally take my hand off the wheel, car's on autopilot. The car's driving, I don't have my feet on the pedals, although they're nearby. I usually hold on to the wheel if I've got nothing else to do, but if I take the hand off the wheel, the car's quite capable of steering itself, so I'm not being unsafe. I don't spend my time looking at the camera. I do concentrate on the road because I am still responsible. It's not full self-drive, it is autopilot. It does, however, have things like automatic lane change. You can probably see it doing it at the moment. If I'm in a lane, I activate it by using the indicators. That tells it I want it to change lane, and it changes lane for me. I've had a lot of comments from MG4 owners who say it's a very abrupt, very jerky system. This is silky smooth. The lane change is really, really beautiful. So that's it. It's not a safety thing. I am watching the road. I am in control of the vehicle, although I don't have to hold the wheel all the time. Anyway, back to the subject. So Tesla Model 2. There's already a lot of information being... I'll do another lane change for anyone who wants to watch. You should be able to see it out the side window, changing lanes. I don't know, can't see what's on the camera. Anyway, there's a lot of information already been released, which is pretty much confirmed nowadays. The first one of those is it is most likely to have the CATL Shenzhen batteries. These are LFP batteries, but these are the ultra high density ones, and these are the ultra fast charging ones as well. The car is also going to be 800 volt architecture. This doesn't change the charging very much at all. Those Shenzhen batteries will charge really fast, whether it's 400 volt architecture or 800. The 800 has cost savings while you're manufacturing. We cover that in a separate video. So it's going to be LFP batteries, it's going to be the Shenzhen, the high density ones. Ultra fast charging, because the car is ultra lightweight, it's a smaller car, because it's a smaller battery, it's going to be a small 3 or 5 door hatchback. That means the car's really light, so they can put in a smaller battery. That means it's lighter, so it will go further on the same charge. So with a smaller battery plus the higher energy, the higher power density that the Shenzhen offers, the battery pack size is going to be about 40, 45, maybe 50 kilowatt hours. So quite a small battery, but they're still talking about a range of up to 300 miles. And that's to do with the ultra lightweight and the battery high density and everything else. But they're already advertising that the charging time for the Model 2 is going to be from 10% to 80% in 10 minutes. This is staggering. This is about the same time it now takes to fill a car with petrol. These are amazing. So in a Model 2, you'll be able to drive 200, 250 mile easily. I know they say 300, you never get that. When you do stop, it'll be 10 minutes. It's literally, if you're going to motorway services, pull in, plug in, walk off, go and have a pee, pick up a coffee, walk back, it's back up to 80%. These are amazing. So this is what's going to be happening. And this will be in all of the models. They don't tend to do a lot of different battery sizes. It's usually 2. They'll have a standard version and a long range version. Not sure in this case they're going to do a long range version of the Model 2, although they could easily. And don't know if they're going to do a premium version of it, like the Renault 5, where you can get a basic model and a premium model, or the Citroen EC3, where there's a basic model and a higher spec model. I've got a feeling they'll probably do what they did with the Model 3 when it first came out. Let's just make one and see how it goes. Model 2, when it comes out, will be ultra high tech. It'll be the best and the fastest charging Tesla on the road. There is no reason whatsoever to install any other software other than what every Tesla has got. This is recognised as the best software, infotainment, structure, everything in the world today. Even the Chinese can't match Tesla on the software. It's a fully integrated system. So it would be stupid to write a special program just for the Model 2. Now, obviously, some things you are going to have to rewrite. So, for example, if the Model 2 doesn't have a heated steering wheel, you don't need that feature in it. So you wouldn't have that on the display as an option. It would be silly to put it in there and grey it out. So it'll be bespoke, but it will be the basic Tesla software. And what that means is you're going to be able to get a nice little 3-5 door hatchback. It's going to have a decent range, 200, 250 mile, real world, when you're driving. It's going to be absolutely blistering fast to charge it. It's going to have the Tesla interface and the potential for the infotainment system. And it's going to be an amazing car at £20,000 or £25,000. If you thought the Model Y was pretty impressive, hitting best-selling car in the world last year, for a £50,000 car, just wait till you see what happens with the Model 2. So it's on its way. There's no reason not to build it. The question really, well, 2 things. First of all, when it is actually announced, they will open up the online orders and anyone can order one, pre-order. It's usually $100 deposit. I'll definitely put $100 down. You can cancel it anytime, get your $100 back, so it's not wasted money, but you can get in the queue. But if this is going to have the sort of demand that I suspect it will, then you're not going to get one for a couple of years. So although they launch it next year, hopefully, it might be end of 25, 26 before you can even get the chance of getting one for yourself. So there's going to be a big gap between what people want and what they can actually get and drive away in. So that's the biggest hold up. So for me, it's just a case of the day it's announced. The minute it's announced, I'll just go on pre-order one. And that means get me in the queue. Why would I want one? Well, I've got a Model S. This is great. Beautiful cruising vehicle. It's absolutely fine. Everything's great with it. It's got about 250-mile range. Fabulous performance, air suspension. I've got the 7-seat version, so I can take my Jonas and his wife and 3 grandkids, and we can all go out for the day in one car. A huge number of advantages. But I am retired. I've given up part-time working. I'm now retired, but running the channel. And so the days of the massive mileage I used to do are long since gone. I'm doing less mileage now. But also the days of carting grandkids around, they're growing up as well. And there's no need for me to be the main taxi for other members of the family. So with my mileage coming down, everything else, I'm also getting older. This one, it's got air suspension, so when I stop, it's a very low car, struggle to get in and out, but you can press a button, it raises the suspension, and you can set that at your location. So it's set at home, for example, every time I pull in at home, it raises it automatically. And that helps, but it's still a low car. The Model 2 is going to be higher than this. I think everything's higher than this. So getting in and out from Model 2 will be easier. But also, it's just going to be a lot more up to date. And the main thing it will have is with the possibility of full self-drive. Now, at some point in my driving career, I'm going to be reaching an age where I am probably not safe on the roads. Most people do reach this and they just stop driving. You lose the independence that owning and driving your own car gives you. If you can get a Model 2 with full self-drive, I can sit in the back, go to sleep, snore away, and the car will drive me to my family, relatives, down to the beach or wherever I'm going, and wake me up when I get there, set the alarm, and it'll extend my independence when I consider I'm not safe on my own to drive cars, because my reactions will slow down. So it'll just extend my independence. It's quite possible if full self-driving is available by then. This is not going to happen next year, by the way. Well, I hope not. I hope I'm going to be driving around for quite a while yet. But if they do release the Robo Taxis, one of the problems with setting up a Robo Taxi service is in the early days, you don't have any. You're going to be building them in the factory like mad, but the factories only turn out about 1 million cars a year for the world. For all the markets. So they've got, they got Beijing, they got Germany, they got California, they've got Texas, and they will have Mexico at some point in the future. So literally they're talking about the full flat out capability of those is probably less than 10 million. And what that means is that's 10 million cars for the whole world. If you look at how many taxis there are in the UK, it's an awful lot of cars. So if you have to allocate thousands and thousands of cars just to replace the taxis in London, for example, it's going to take you quite a while to do it. So what Tesla has is a massive advantage, is that they can use existing cars with full self-drive added as robo-taxis. So for example, if I do get a Model 2 and I retire, even stop doing the channel one day, then the car's going to sit outside for 3-4 days a week doing absolutely nothing. And even on the days I use it, it might be going to the shops or going to visit family, and therefore it's not being used more than 10, 15, 20 hours a week out of 168 available. And I'd be able to register with Tesla that car as a robo-taxi. And I can allocate times. So in other words, I don't use it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at all. So I give that availability to Tesla. And they can include that in their fleet of robo-taxis while they're building them in the factory. So it means they can hit the ground running. So on the first day, if they not only have some of their own Robo Taxis that they've allocated, maybe a few thousand, plus they got access to tens of thousands of other Tesla cars already on the road, which people have allocated for use as robo-taxis when they're not using it. They actually come into the market, the robo-taxi market, with a very, very large fleet on day one. This is something that the Waymo and Cruise and people like this cannot do. If you have a look at Waymo cars, they are absolutely adorned with all the sensors. They've got LiDAR, they've got radar, they've got cameras, they've got ultrasonic, GPS, they've got the lot. And they need every one of those sensors in order to make it a robotaxi. And they are driving around at the moment driverless in several places in California, in America and in China. So the driverless cars are already here. Robotaxis, they're already working and earning money. So if they want to make robotaxis available to a wider audience, a wider customer base, they have to build those cars with all these sensors on them. And that is very, very expensive, but they hit the same problem. The factories will only turn out 1 million cars a year for the whole world. And so it's going to take them absolutely ages in order to get any decent number of robotaxis. Whereas Tesla, if they get in touch with every single Tesla owner around the world, there's millions, over 5 million of them now, maybe 1 or 2 million of them, people will say, yeah, you can have my car 3 days a week or every evening after 6 o'clock or whatever the time is. And consequently, Tesla can launch on day one with a massive, massive robotaxi fleet, which others can't do. No, so what that means is if I do retire and if I cut down my mileage and if I do upgrade to a Model 2, I say upgrade, it's a downgrade in terms of comfort and other things. This won't be beaten, but the technology is much, much better. So if I do upgrade to the Model 2 and it has, and I choose the option for full self-driving, I can just allocate that as a robotaxi, which does two things. It still allows me to keep my car, but it also gives me an income. Whatever the taxi fare or the robotaxi fare that Tesla charge the customers, they will split with the owner of the Tesla and Tesla themselves. So if my car goes out and is being used, they're forecasting some of these cars could be producing up to £40,000 a year as a revenue from robotaxi jobs. And so that would be great to have a car there which I can snatch back whenever I want, just take it off the fleet. I can allocate it to set times when I know I won't be using it, and it can give me an extra pension. So that has a real attraction for me. That gives me a lot more independence, gives me a better income, a better pension once I get a bit older. So that's my thinking behind it. So I, for one, am going to be having a look at these. Going to be doing a full video on the Tesla Model 2. What we know about it already. It's quite a lot. Nobody knows what it looks like. It's a closely guarded secret. But that's it for now. So say thank you very much for watching. I'm Dave.